This is Rogue Mystic Divination, and this is going to be a monthly for Pisces, December 2024. Now, for this reading, there's going to be, the first card is going to be the energy surrounding the entire month, beginning to end. Then I'll draw another card for the energy starting the month. One card for each week, and then an additional card wrapping up the end of the energy that you're leaving the month with. So, thank you for tuning in, and please be sure to come back for dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. There we go. But starting out December 2024 for Pisces, we have the Devil in reverse. Now, with the Devil in reverse, it could be that you've been in some codependent relationships or around people who have been trying to insist that that's what they were without saying those words exactly, but insisting that they do so much for you and you do stuff for them, but it's never enough. And, well, aside from being the holiday season, if this is something you're normally dealing with, you're going to be able to release those connections, not completely, because you're still going to have those connections with these people. However, you will be utilizing some form of your free will and allowing that to change. And it's not necessarily because you have to. But in the same breath, I almost want to say you have no choice but to start acknowledging how a relationship has changed, what the expectations could be now, and it may just be because you never really truly had a chance to sit down and think about what's the purpose behind this relationship. Why am I involved in it? And if it's causing me nothing but heartache, why am I still here? And that is not just an intimate relationship that you're having these thoughts about. This is family, it's friends, it's people that you deal with on, not even a consistent basis, but detaching a little bit from these connections that you have may help you see and understand why you feel like you're having issues with them. But for the beginning of the month, the energy that you're coming in with, financial loss, you may find yourself in a spot of needing security, needing to rely on other people for your foundation, and it's not working out. Feeling like you need other people, and then them just being, I'm not saying they need to be super happy about helping you out, but if you've been in a situation where you've had no issue just dropping everything and helping people out before, especially these people, and acting like there's no issues and that it's not a problem and just working around it and making things work, and then you ask for this assistance, it could end up with you being honest to them about how they're acting, because you now need the same kind of help and they don't see it like that. Now, this could be because they see that their responsibilities are more hefty, their problems are more serious because they're their problems, and they're not seeing yours like that. This isn't necessarily financial poverty that I'm getting from this. It's more of a poverty of connection. Well, you need some kind of feedback from this other person. They're just kind of writing it off like, why do you need that? And, oh, it's such a burden for me to give you this tiny little bit of feedback, this moment of my time, whenever I could be doing so much more worthwhile. And that's not financial poverty. If anything, it's emotional poverty. Now, I understand that it's the holiday season and everyone's busy doing this and doing that and using that as a good excuse to neglect their connections. However, I really want to say that however busy that somebody is, if especially if you've had this previous kind of connection with them to where you could drop everything and just go help them, no matter how important what it is that you were already doing was to you. When it's not difficult for them to do the same for you, and you see that they're not doing it, and you see that they're making it more of an issue than it should be, or that you ever made it for them, it may end up initiating some distance. And if they find that you lack such worth in their life and that you're just a burden, because I'm sorry, it's the Five of Pentacles. This is typically you're broke, you're out on the street, you don't have any resources, and you have nothing in your hands to give anybody else, and all you have is a need to be supported in some way so you can get back up on your feet. And even whenever you're at your lowest low, if people can't assist you then, but they can help you with stupid shit, because, oh, that makes them feel good. That's very discerning of what kind of person they are and what kind of meaning that this connection may be for them. And coming to that realization, it can make you feel very connection poor. And sorry, that card is always a trip. So, but for week 1 of December 2024, we have the Hanged Man. So you are in position to turn your own perspective on something or someone upside down. And being in this upside down position, and going back to the Five of Pentacles, if your finances are upside down, if you're just in a position of lack right now, having this followed by the Hanged Man in the upright, your perspective is being forced to change. But this change is going to help you to release something. Whether it's a feeling that you're responsible for somebody else's happiness, or you're responsible for keeping a connection alive by maintaining a position that you've been in and allowing people to keep you in this position in a family group, in a whatever hierarchy that it is that you're involved in. Whenever you do this, and you don't have to make a big show of it, you don't have to cuss everybody out and set anything on fire, or just stop doing what you've been doing. Stop doing the small things that people never notice that you do, the big things that they ask you to do. Just stop doing, and doing the exact opposite of what you've been doing, which is helping them, assisting them. It's going to allow their perspective to change, and whether they like it or not, they're going to come back to the realization that you do a lot for them. They do rely on you a lot, and it's not just tiny, pithy shit. It's big stuff that you took the time out of your day, out of your life, and focused on them. And this isn't just enlightenment for you. Their enlightenment is going to take a while, and their perspective change is going to take a while, and they may not be able to admit it right away, but They don't have to. They can change how they've been acting. For week 2, you do have a long-term vision, and you're trying to put the work in, but it's not going to pay off right away. You are going to see some of the results of what it is that you're working on. However, when you do this, you're not looking for a short-term payout. You're not looking for a lottery ticket that you go, like, buy a $1 scratch off and you get a $5, win off of it. This isn't $5 luck. This is working towards something, starting with small steps, and allowing that effort that you put in towards something to develop. Whether it's a financial investment or it's putting in job applications. Something is going to pay off. It's just not going to pay off big right away. Now, if you're looking for another job, it's likely that in the second part or the second week of December, this is whenever you get the job interview. This is when you get the job offer. And with that, the reason why you can't, look for the long term, you could have a job that pays immediately that gets offered to you. That's not what you're looking for, because it's going to be very short-lived, even though it looks like it's good, and it could be a cash-in-hand kind of job. What you're looking for at this point is a job that's going to go at least a little bit longer, and by the way that this is feeling, about a year and a half before you decide you need to make a change. So even though you won't get pay right away, I would take the job that is going to give you a paycheck in 2 or 3 weeks. For week 3, and I'm going to put this out for week 3 too, because that flipped over. But right now, in week 3, you're going to find yourself in a position where you will be able to give and receive. And I just heard a little bit of this. Don't give them hell. They're not going to pay you for it, no matter how much fun it is. Either way, in week 3, it does look like you'll be able to give something. I still don't feel like this is an outside source. It's almost like you're balancing something out for yourself and giving yourself what it is that you've needed to be able to receive for quite a while. So even though this is the giving and receiving card, I want to say that what you need to focus on is giving yourself the credit, the resources, the time, the energy to understand what is important to you and what it is that you need. Now, coupled with the Tower in reverse, there is a powerful transformation you're going to be undergoing in week 3. Even though this is a major turning point for you, it's understandable that it may be tempting to stay where you're at and go back to something more, I almost said dependable, but it's not more dependable. You're just used to it. You're used to its inconsistency. And whenever you're used to inconsistency and chaos, it's very hard to adjust to a schedule, to something routine. But in the end, if you stick with it, this thing that you started in week 2 it's going to end up paying off for you better in the long run, and you're going to be able to give and receive not just to yourself but to those around you, and it's going to be necessary things. This does feel like these are necessary changes and things that you need to fulfill for yourself. And going on to week 4. After all this chaos, after you get a better idea of what it is that you need to be doing and get used to being able to fulfill the needs that you have, you're going to be able to fully commit to not just on paper, but fully commit to either a new lifestyle or a new commitment. Even though this generally heralds something like a baby or pregnancy, giving compassion to someone, it feels as though you're giving this compassion to yourself and allowing yourself to adjust to something that's for your own good. If you found yourself in a lot of chaos and instability throughout your life, especially lately, this is going to feel very weird at first, but you'll be able to almost wear into it pretty easy in week 4. Like it starts in week 3, and you can start to get used to it and adjust to it in week 4. And whatever this is, it is going to make your cup run over. So if this is in relation to a job and you're having financial issues right now, it could be because whenever you sign on to the job, you get a sign-on bonus. But with that being said, I'm going to move on to the final card of the month. The energy that you're going to be leaving the month with. So I really feel as though this 3 of Swords coming in for the energy that you're leaving the month with. I want to take it, I don't really feel like you have any loss. I think it's more along the lines of this manipulation, the needs that you were required to fulfill for this other person or for these other people in your life. It feels as though they have finally caught on after a whole month. And it may have been longer. This may have been a process that you started a while back, but it almost feels as though they have finally caught on to the fact that you're not doing that anymore. And even though this is the third party card in the upright, it feels as though their energy is still trying to mess something up for you. Like they're trying to get into the middle of any progress that you're making without them, either out of jealousy or out of a need to be involved with things that have nothing to do with them. So especially after Christmas, like starting around the beginning of Christmas, and into the new year, someone could decide that they have an emergency and now they need you to deal with this instead of taking care of yourself. Well, I need you to do this instead of go to your normal job. Even if you've worked very hard to get this job, they don't care. They want you to deal with their problems. And if you do feel any emotional pain from this, it's just that they would ask you to do this even whenever you've done this. It could be your entire life, and it didn't matter then. Why is anything that you're going to do now going to matter to them? And this loss does not feel as though this is anybody dying or anybody permanently leaving your life. It's just almost grieving the loss of the idea that you had of someone. And their actions are just so blatant right now that, or at the end of the month, that you can't deny it anymore, and you have to choose yourself over this person. Even though they like to say that they've chosen you over themselves, if you look at the position that they're in and you look at the position that you're in and that you're finally getting out of, and they want you to sacrifice your success for their unnecessary indulgence of using your time and your energy and screwing things up for you, then that's the true character of that person. And I almost want to say that's a decision that you need to make, but the Lovers isn't here. It's not a decision that you need to make. The only thing that you need to decide to do is utilize that perspective that you got with the Hanged Man and choose to see what's being put in front of you. Overall, this week, Pisces, it does look like you're going to make some good progress, especially if it has to do with finances and work and career. You're going to have to release some personal connections that may have been holding you back, but whenever they want to fix their attitude and they want to fix whenever they want to fix their BS, then they can come back. But until they come back with something else other than, well, I need you to, and I want you to, and, well, why aren't you? Whenever they get rid of that attitude, they can come back into your life, because then they're actually bringing something that you need or you want. And in the end, all that you need or you want is these people in your life. But if they're going to make it difficult unnecessarily and difficult for you to live your life and be you, then they don't have a place there. Know that if they get comfortable, though, they will slip back into that same rigmarole. So it may be a little bit turbulent with personal relationships this month, but hang in there, Pisces, and you will make it through. I promise. And it looks like you have some pretty good horizons in your very near future. So if you guys would like a personal reading, I do have the links below. So other than that, please be sure to check back for your dailies, weeklies, and monthlies, and I will see you next time.